Good morning, YouTube. The reason why I'm using this podium is just because it's here. I kind of like podiums. But I'm going to speak a little bit upon my frustrations with recruitment here at Christendom College. I mentioned this briefly in entry 11, which I had recorded earlier today. So, those of you who are aware of Christendom College, it's a small Catholic liberal arts school in Royal, Virginia. That would be about 90 minutes, roughly a little south of west from Washington, D.C. Just take Interstate 66 out into Virginia, and I don't recall the exact exit number. But Christendom College, unlike its frequently associated fellow Catholic school, Franciscan University of Steubenville in Ohio, is very small. We have about the student body, that's the term. We have a student body of about 400 students. This was slightly inflated due to all of the Seton freshmen this year. But compared to Steubenville, we're minuscule. We're tiny. And that's actually how our founder, Dr. Warren Carroll, had wanted this to be. He realized that if the college was a big one, it would be harder to keep the, what would you call it? Hard to retain a sense of adherence to the truths of the church. And so far, so good. We have, believe it or not, only one Protestant that I'm aware of on campus, and that person is going to be actually converting next Easter, being accepted into the fold of the church. None of the teachers here, as I'm aware of, are radical in their beliefs in differing from the teachings of the church. And for the most part, our spiritual life is very up and, what do you call it, vivacious. We have 2 masses a day, except for Saturdays and Sundays, during which there's no scheduled activities for students to attend. So there's no classes during Mass. There's no meals, for the most part, during Mass. In my own experience, the, what would you call it? Anyways, confession is very frequented here on campus. I remember earlier this semester going to confession, and I was only 5 minutes late, and there was a huge line that almost went to halfway up to the sacristy. What was the sacristy? Whatever. There was a huge line, and I never even got to confession. The line just took forever. So anyways, we seem to move towards the motto which we put out there, breathe Catholic. But we also do have some frustrations. Now compared to secular colleges, these are practically nothing. You can just blow them aside. And we have no problems with drugs. We have no problems with sex, as far as I know. If we did, we'd probably know. It's such a small familial campus. But there's something that seems to be lacking with the male side of the community here. Now, I have a sister here now, a freshman. I actually had an older sister here too for 2 years. She was a junior when I came in. But my younger sister, the freshman here, and I have had quite a few conversations on the immaturity of her classmates, and for some of her upperclassmen, which would be people even up into my class. Now, I'm not trying to be harsh or trying to accuse anyone when I say this, so if any of my fellow students come on, please recognize that this is my own opinion, And though I believe that my opinion is right, I'm not trying to put you in a bad light at all. For example, we have a problem with drinking, underage, and smoking on campus. Now, for the most part, the college has looked the other way on the smoking and drinking. We'll begin with drinking. The reason they've looked away for drinking is not because they wish to what would you say, disobey the law. It's because they have no one who's willing to report in who's doing it. I mean, as I said before, this is a very familial campus. It's everyone knows everybody. At least some people. I don't. So the RAs, for example, the resident advisors, whose job it is to report such activities, and also act as a, what do you call it, a big brother or a big sister to the people under their care. They don't report anything because they don't want to lose their friends. Now me, I don't know anyone. People pretty much don't care about me, actually. I'm almost a non-entity on campus. So I can report things. I've actually reported this semester on some underage drinkers. And I was actually well received by the faculty. They were very happy to know that where all the drinking spots were. So this is proof that they aren't being a bad example or illegal in any way. They're just frustrated. But where am I going with this? Anyways, maybe this will make more sense when I talk about smoking as well. Now, I once had a cigarette, only once, and I don't even think I used it correctly. All I did was burn my nose. But having the experience of taking a cigarette, I can understand a little more why it's so appealing. But even though there seems to be, a relaxing benefit with cigarettes, it's just so pointless. I mean, there's people who I know, some of them very dear to me, one of which very dear to me, who smokes, and I can hear them coughing all the time and losing their breath and getting sick and being addicted to this stuff. And why do they do this? Why do people drink underage, and why do they smoke? The only thing I can think of is because it's the adult thing to do. And this just does not make sense to me or my sister at all. For us, now I'm going to make a bit of a confession. Me and my family are a bit of an idealist group. We are very judgmental, and we view problems as things that need to be taken care of because they're an imperfection and they need to be resolved so that things should be as they should. So for example, me and my vehemence against abortion, it's the ideology that motivates, or one reason that motivates me forwards. So you could say we have a bit of a prejudice against underage smoking and drinking. But when I look at this, from my vocational view, while the underage smoking and drinking is a problem, it's just also a major frustration when I'm trying to recruit. I wrote one article on my blog and also on Catholic Answers forums, which was really well received. It was called The Necessity for Catholic Masculinity, and how I reiterated there's very few people whom I would regard as worthy of respect. Males only, mind you. And all of those who I do respect can all be categorized under the banner of Catholicism. I've never found a Protestant who are a Hindu or anyone. Of course, I must confess I've been pretty much in a Catholic community all my life, but even then, looking out into the world through the news, the media, I've never found someone worthy of respect who was not Catholic. Now, looking back on Christendom campus, the faculty I respect very much. I mean, there are some that I would point to all the time and say, this is a very good Catholic person. But when I look at my class, and at the underclassmen below me, even the freshmen, mind you, they're 18, technically they're adults, I cannot find true Catholic men. I once joked about how you can categorize Christendom students into two categories. This is a bit extreme, but there's the holy rollers and then the party goers. The holy rollers will go to Mass every day, confession weekly, take part in in Legion of Mary, Shield, etc. And then the party goers will just go out, drink, smoke, party, not really care about their studies. Now, I said that's a bit extreme, but each one has its flaws. If the people who are here who I jokingly categorize as holy rollers, sure, they're very good people, but they don't seem to have that drive, that, mind you, I'm talking about men again, that, would it be too much to call it a combative nature against evil? I'm looking for people who understand evil as it is, recognize that the good should be upheld and evil destroyed, and be willing to devote their lives to combating evil and defending the good. And I haven't found a single person who has even the slightest tendencies towards such a vocation. And then you have the party goers, and some of them I wouldn't even trust in the trench with me. They're good people, but they don't have the maturity level that I need in my organization. Now, I don't think I need to elaborate that too much, but let me put it this way. I want to form an organization which is to be the archetype of the Catholic layman in society. And it's necessary towards the goal of this group. The goal, of course, is the destruction of evil and the upholding of good. That the archetype is to be realized in each individual member, which means a very disciplined and a very holy oriented life. And if I have people in my ranks who are just chugging the beer and smoking all the time, and then I might as well add swearing and making crude jokes, and what is the organization going to look like? It's just going to look like a bunch of hooligans instead of a well-organized and well-directed group. So that's the gist of my frustration with recruitment here at Christendom campus. And now there's just one final question before I close this video. What am I going to do about it? I've been here for 3 years, entering my 4th as a senior. And I've been thinking about that for all that time. Back in a freshman year, I considered forming an organization for the boys on campus. That never went off the ground. I was frustrated with my own studies at the time. Freshman year here at Christian was rather tough. Sophomore year, I was busy with Legion and Shield, exhausting myself every weekend. Junior year, I was gone in Rome for a semester, so I couldn't do anything. Then I came back here and I sort of laid such an idea on the back burner. But now that I'm seriously committing to moving towards my vocation, for example, with the putting my views out on Blogger and YouTube, I have to readdress this question: what am I going to do for my fellow boys here at the Christendom campus? How to help them realize the gravity of our situation. I'm thinking about writing in the Rambler. The Rambler is a monthly newsletter written by the students of Christendom for the students of Christendom. There's a lot of comedy, satire, things along that nature in the Rambler, but every now and then there's a serious article. I'm also going to have to start moving in a bit more open light about my stance. I'm going to talk to the Dean of Student Life, Mr. Dorman, actually, is his name. It's funny, actually, Mr. Dorman is feared by the drinkers and such, and because he's like that. He's the high judge of your activities, you know. But I've talked to him twice actually, and our conversations were rather favorable. And I'd like to ask him his opinion upon the situation and any ideas he has towards improving the situation. My brain's starting to fail here, but one final thing I'm going to have to do is related to my videos here and blog. I can write and post videos for as long as I want, but I'll be protected by the anonymity of the internet. I mean, who knows if I didn't put this my about me stats on my blog and YouTube, who I am, where I'm at, I could be John Doe for all you know. I have to be out in the public and demonstrating my views and showing them in action. I mean, I could say, abortion's wrong, something needs to be done about it. I must prove it. So, once I move out into the open, that will in a secondary way affect my life here at Christendom. Hopefully, God willing, if I'm able to, even that way, if I'm able to be good enough, I suppose, say, I might be able to be a good role model for my underclassmen who are in sore need of a true Catholic man among their ranks. Well, that's enough ranting for today. I'll post this video up and talk to you later. See ya.